here we are, a new section of canal. It's full, it's ready to go, it's looking great. I'm back here again, and you may recognise this bridge. This is the Wilts and Berks Canal, and this is where I started my video a few weeks ago, where I ranted about the town centre in Swindon and all the things that should and aren't happening in that area. But this is a bit more of a positive video, and this is what can happen when you have joined up thinking on a canal. Now, this is a dead end at the moment. This is the end of the canal for now, for a couple of years. But what's happening here is a massive housing development, and the housing developers have created a group. So there's David Wilson Homes, Barrat Homes, Swindon Borough Council are involved in this, as well as the Wilts and Berks Canal Trust. And the aim is to restore the canal and create new canal to take a diversion around Swindon. These developers understand what it means to have a canal on your site. They understand that it brings this nature corridor through, it brings a much happier living environment, and they've worked very hard with all the other parties to get this built before the houses are built. Normally these projects don't happen until the money's there from all the sales of the houses, but this has been a joint venture project, and it means the canal is opening much earlier. So if you look ahead of us, you'll see we're coming to the sort of a dead end. You can see a truck going across there now, actually. And this is the old line of the canal, the original line. And this is going to carry on and go across the M4. It's going to turn, the original line went straight ahead over the M4. It's going to turn and go under the M4 a bit further down, providing the trust can get permissions and the money and stuff to do it. But this does lead to just here, just before it went under the M4, there's going to be a junction going that way. That's going to take the canal to the south of Swindon and take it all the way up around into the eastern villages which are being built, and on to Shrivenham and off to Abingdon, where it joins the Thames. As you can see all around me, there's construction going on. There's apartments being built here now, which are going to overlook the canal. Now, building a canal side property adds about 20% onto the value of that property. The developers, obviously, they realise this and they want to take full advantage of it, so they are putting proper effort into this canal to make sure it's all working and running and creating a lovely backdrop to this development. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump across to a section I covered very recently. Let's see what's happening. And here we are. So I was last here around 4 months ago, and when I was here last, you may remember that they were digging through. They were still doing all the clay bed. Now there's a 600mm clay bed throughout this canal and up the banks. So there's quite a bit of clay, and luckily it's clay soil around it, so it's actually reused clay, which is a lot more environmentally friendly than pulling clay in. But this is the bridge coming across from Fox and Road Bridge, I think it's called, and that's the East Wichel sections up there, which have been in water for a number of years. But as you can see just below me here, we have water. Let's turn this around, look. And we have a full canal. Now this wasn't necessarily done on purpose. They were working here and they've had trouble since around September. I actually came here and posted some pictures up on my socials of this full, and they had to pump it all back out again, carry on with work, and then it filled again very recently with the rain. They pumped it again, finished the last little bits they needed. They only had a few days left on it, and now it's full, ready to go. But they haven't managed to finish everything quite off. You can still see some clay just in there, along there, and in here you can see the stakes in the ground. This is going to be filled with, I think it's willow, led down, and that creates a bund, which then allows like a reed-in area, as well as planting going along this bundle across the top here as well. So lots done here as well on this side. Look, you can see they're starting to profile everything here and ready for planting up. And the sections up ahead of us here are also full of water, again not supposed to be. This bit is supposed to be full now. So there's two more sections going up ahead of us. The first of those is largely done. They've still got a little bit more profiling and scraping off to do. And the second section has got about 4 more weeks worth of work to do. They were hoping to get that done this year, but unfortunately they couldn't due to the weather. It's just been too wet. So that is going to be a next year job, unfortunately. The other thing that's going to happen next, as things dry up hopefully, is they're going to be able to pump a bit of this out and allow the planting to go on the other side. Now the partnership between all of this has allowed this to happen. it's made this canal doable before everything's finished, which is a great thing to have. I moaned a lot about Swindon Council in the last post, but this is something that they've been really positive about, and they've, it's great that they've been involved in this partnership to allow this canal to be done. So this joined up thinking, which I keep on going on about, is allowing this to go up to the M4. There's going to be a junction ahead of us, and then we're going to be going into the sort of wichelstowe sections, which are already in water where we just were before this section. Now, this canal then has quite a few miles where they can run boat trips and all sorts, but more importantly, this nature corridor, which you can see is being worked on very hard here to achieve, with all the planting that's going to go along this bank and also some stuff on this bank as well. And this takes a wildlife corridor through a major town, and this is what I was talking about Swindon Town Centre. You can see how wide this corridor is as well. They have their 30 metres and more, which allows them to do it. And right, so here we are at the sort of the next section here. I'm not going to go much further than this bund because it's quite wet on this site. But this isn't going to be quite the same as behind us. If you look behind us, you can see the sheep piling on this side. So you've got a nice bank there for mooring. This side here is going to be a more natural bank, so it will be more about the wildlife over here than the mooring up. There will be mooring, but it's going to be a slope bank. You can see what I mean about how they've got just a bit more profiling to do here. And in that second section, which you can kind of just see on the bund just there, that section there has lots to do. But beyond this point, this is going to go up to about, I think it's about 35 metres from that tree line. And that's going to be where the bridge is going to be. That's Mill Lane, I believe that's called, and that's going to take you into the next section, which is starting hopefully next year. So the plan is probably later next year to start building the next section of canal. And this drone footage here shows you kind of where it is. Now the old canal is in there, and that joins up onto the end of the wichelstowe section. There's going to be a junction and a swing bridge, and then the rest of the canal is going to come down through into this section. Now you can see where they've kind of started to work on a bund here. The bund was started as another acoustic bund because of the M4 running alongside. They had to stop because of the weather. It was just too much rain, they couldn't do anything about it. So it's slightly delayed from where they want to be, but it is in progress to do even more canal down here. So we're back over now to where Dragonfly moors. This is a boat trip that goes through, and we'll hopefully go in a few years back up there as well.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan, to get this boat up to the section that you just saw being semi in water.
Yeah, and into the wichelstowe sections, because that'll do wonders for that to have boats running through it.
But it's a long stretch.
It is a very long stretch.
It's a very long stretch. So it's going to be really good for Swindon, the wider community, and people come far and wide to come on Dragonfly, which is just there.
This is the trust boat. It's fully accessible as well, so anyone can come down. And it's a lovely boat trip. We do it quite a lot. I'm going to be doing one next week, actually, funnily enough. But yeah,
I was on it yesterday doing the Santa trips. I wasn't Santa.
That's what we're here for. It's looking good over there, though, isn't it?
It's really looking impressive. I mean, 2.5 years ago, I went there. They had done one bit of the embankment, which was a sort of spin-off, run-off from the original bridge development, but they hadn't really dug the canal out, and there was wisp of willow and bits of birch and so on growing up out of that canal bed, and it was looking very neglected. And the community would walk under the bridge and say, but it was neglected because it just wasn't, we're waiting for the next phase of development.
It was never finished. Which they've done now, because they've welded all the joints on it and stuff as well, haven't they now? So it's all a sealed section ready to go, and they've still got the second bit of it to go, but the first bit is fantastic.
I was impressed with the towpath.
I
didn't plan on seeing the towpath completed so early. So it was done because of the floods. They couldn't do the work on the canal channel, so they did the towpath instead. So the developers are working well towards kind of making parts of it work as they can. You're very weather dependent with construction, and that's what they've let us know. I mean, as you know, anyone who's watching this in the UK, September was a washout, October was really wet, and November has not been good. And locally, we know even that our Chippenham Town Centre flooded. Obviously, where you got attachments to Chippenham, and that had major flooding. So we can understand that they are a bit behind on this.
It didn't help we had such a wet summer as well, because the ground's already saturated, so that rain just comes. So when you're digging up for construction,
you've got no hope. It just puddles as soon as you go, and then it's there for weeks as well. So they're doing a great job considering.
It's
really,
good for the future when the canal's there.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
We'll have a nice full canal like we have today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really pleased. I think it's a really good progress, and we are in Swindon. I don't know how to put it in words. We are showing other areas of what you can do with joint up thinking.
Yeah.
You know, the joint venture team for front forwarding that Section 106 money to get things for the community built, and then reap that back when the house is set.
Yeah.
Rather than a developer running away.
So this is what can happen when you think about a canal before everything else goes on around it, and it's a great thing to do for somewhere like Swindon, and it shows what can be done in the centre, as we discussed recently. But thanks for watching, have a great day.